Welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on block 5 of Be My Neighbor. This was a Pat Sloan motor project from 2017, and we are putting it together, and I'm using all sorts of my scrap fabric and stuff that I have in my stash. I'm not buying a thing for this, I'm just using what I have. Same with buttons and beads and embroidery floss and whatever, and sequins, whatever else I can think of that I wanted to help highlight this whole project. So it looks really lovely. Actually, let me just show you a picture right here of the basic layout. It's only, I know it's just in the little lined form there, but we're kind of working on this block right down here, and it's really kind of cute. I love it with the big heart. And of course I wanted to, since this is for my sisters Elizabeth and Lisa, I wanted to make sure I'm making a nice big red heart. So I chose to have my rooftop as well as my heart being red, and then the rest of the project is kind of whatever I wanted it to be. So it really goes together quite fast. I like the way the chimney stack is. It's not right in the center, it's a little off to the side. It's got a lovely little bird here. You can mix up your fabrics. This is the first one I did. It's got some blue and a pink belly, and you know, so that's number 5. It'll go on the wall with the ones behind me. We got 1 through 4 up there, and now I'm going to build out the other one. Okay, so I've got my little top of my roof section here with my house and my bird. It's already attached, and of course I just use heat and bond, and that's you. And so the pattern says not reverse, so you're going to have to flip your paper so the paper is down against the paper against paper, and you're going to trace out on the kind of the gluey side, and then flip it back over, and then trace what you've traced on the gluey side onto the paper side, and then that's going to be what you're going to need to do this project, because you got to go flip, and because you're first attaching it to the back, or you're attaching it to the front, and then you're attaching it to the back. You know what I mean? So it's you gotta think of that. So other than that, you end up with a house, or a bird on the other side of the house, which we have already up there. So you know, lesson learned. But anyways, that's our other bird. So we're gonna finish off this little project here. So let's continue with the roof, this section here. So here's my house fabric, and of course it's a 5-inch square cut on the marked on the diagonal, and then we're going to sew on that line, and then that flips down here, and then we're going to do our chimney stack as well as our background fabric, and that's going to go on the other side here, and that's going to make a beautiful little rooftop line as well as a house line. And I really like the spiffy look of this. I really do. It's one of my favorite things about this project. So of how that the roof line and the roof and the house and stuff like that really look. All right, so, and then we have another part of our heart to build, which is the 3.5 by 5.5, and then we take our 1.5s and we put them up in the corner. Let's do that so we can kind of get all the sewing done at once here. Not necessarily all at once, but we're going to put those up in the corner. Of course, we're marking on the diagonal of those small squares. Okay. Pop a little pin in there to hold it in place, and then there's a 3.5 that goes in the bottom corner. But make sure you're putting in the correct bottom corner, or you're going to end up with 2 of the same pieces. So because our heart's going this way, I want to make sure our piece of fabric is going the other direction so they meet up. So when I sew this line, if I want to just kind of do like a faux sew to understand which way I'm going with this, then it's going to be perfect. Okay, so I know this is in the right spot, making sure that the line isn't down in this corner. Okay, so put a pin in there. So we'll sew this line and then pop over and do another half square triangle, and then we're going to sew this line and do a half square triangle off that side to put for the stash, but these 2 are too small. So let's get these guys done. And then here's our chimney stack, which is a 6.5 by 1 3/4, and then a 6.5 by 2, and then a 3 3/4 by 6.5. And we're just going to sew those together as well. And then pretty much the rest is the house bits, and we're good to go. So it's not a hard block. It's not a hard block at all. It's quite actually fast and very cute. And you don't have to add the heart if you don't want to. I mean not the heart, but the bird. Sorry, you have to add the heart. Well, actually, you don't. You could have put just another feature fabric in that section. You know, you just needed to make sure you had the right size. So, all right, we'll let's do that, and then we'll add our another chunk of background fabric on, so we can finish off our little chimney and our rooftop. Okay, and then of course we'll give that a press. Okay, so let's just put that over there on the press pile. Here is the other part of our house and roof. So sew on that line, and then of course we want to get that extra half square triangle out of this project. So we're going to pop over just one more. I know it's a little extra stitch, and sometimes people say it takes too much time to do it, or they don't want to do it, and that's fine. It's up to you. I like the half square triangles. It's led to some very fun projects. And I really would like to keep a memory of this project for sure. Okay, so and then we're just gonna do a cut line right in between, and that's go to the stash, and that'll come straight down. Okay, so let's get the other heart here, or the other half of the heart. Okay, oh, sounds like something draining. I must have been quiet with my setup. She was sleeping. All right. And you want to make sure that those corners get flipped to the outside of the heart. Okay, so they've got to come into a point. Right, and then, right there. Just wiggle that square a little bit better. Okay. And then those we're just going to cut off because they're too tiny to do anything with. I mean, you can put them in your scrappy collection and do something else with them, or, you know, filler for pin cushions or little stuffies or something. That's completely up to you. And then again, over just a smidge. This is a good size half square triangle, so. All right, let's trim those up and give some pressings, okay? So here we go. Do some trimming. First here. Over to the pile. Let's trim off these little guys here. Make sure you're going within 1/4 of an inch. You don't want to go any shorter than that because you might lose the threads, right? So, and then just kind of finger press this out and make sure it's going to match up to the other heart. And you're like, okay, good, good, good. So that can go over to the press pile. And then here, let's trim this. Make sure it's all laid out flat. You don't want that, you know, tail tucked under. You might nip it off. That would be very sad. That'd be very, very sad. Okay, that's to the extra pile. Can do a finger press on this one, and then we'll add the chimney stack and background fabric to this. Okay, so let's get these pressed. These guys here. Okay, just a moment. I know I don't have the overhead camera aimed over here. Oops. There we go. Let's finish our rooftop. We have to put a line on the diagonal. Okay, just move that there for a moment. Okay, here's our corner, because that's going to be the corner of our house. It's going to match up to this one right here, okay? But we need to make sure we're adding our background fabric as well as our chimney. So on here it says to put it with the small line of the background fabric down. You can see that right there. And if we were to do a line right across here and stitch that, and then if we flipped it up, that looks perfect. Okay, so it's in the right spot. I could have chose a different color chimney. I chose both chimneys to be the same and same rooftops for both of them to be the same. All right, so let's put our line on the diagonal. Make sure that's correct. Yes, it is. Just using a pencil, nothing too fancy McFancy or anything like that. And if you find you can't see it on the dark, then just come back in with a lighter pencil where that's going to line up, okay? All right, so let's get that sewn. And what we'll do is we will sew the heart together at the same time. So let's pin that together. And we kind of want to line up those red and the yellow fabrics. We just want to make sure they're right kind of on top of each other. And then I'll put our heart together, and then we can put this together, our chimney stack. Just put a couple pins here, okay. Back up the machine. pop over just a smidge, making sure that is the proper placement of having the chimney stack coming up from the edge of that roof. So this is the extra bit side. So we come pop over a foot in a space in a bit and sew down again and put that to the half square triangle pop. And you just never know what we're going to do with it. The challenges for 2021. And there we go. Okay, isn't that super cute? So let's give that a press after we get this sewn together, and then we'll press that and add the rest of our house pieces. And that's pretty much the complicated parts dealt with. And not necessarily even complicated really at that. It's just it needed a little extra, assistance on how to explain. Oh, that's beautiful. That lined up really nice. There we go. Like gorgeous. All right, let's press these two here. Press our heart first. It turned out really nice. Very pleased with that. And then our chimney stack with roof and house. Okay, very nice. Okay. Now this is where we want to put these two together, and again, lining up at those very nice little spots here. Making sure they're stacked up on top. Right up on top of each other. This is where you kind of don't necessarily want to snuggle, you just want them right on top, because it's that defining line in between the squares, right? I mean, it needs to make that nice sharp point. Okay, so once we sew that, that'll give us our nice little roofy top, okay, that purdy. And then let's put our other bits and bobs here together, just making sure we're good to go. So that should be the ones on the side here. Yeah, okay, so let's pin these two on the side. Just one pin in each. I love the colors I chose for my houses. They seem very fun to me. I don't know, I just really like them. And like I said, I'm just trying to have fun with this whole project, and I really am. So, and then once we get those two pieces on, we'll add this one to the bottom and this one to the top, and then we can pretty much put our other bits together, and it's all done. It's gonna look like this one right here. Isn't that cool? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Like I said, I wanted them different, but I also wanted them a little bit of the same because they're for each of my sisters, right? And I really wanted to make them special and have that link in between this whole project. So that we've been working on for the past, just over a month now. And I'll probably do all the blocks first before I decide what block will go with what quilt, just because I made one first doesn't mean it's always going to be with that first quilt or something, right? So it'll be different. All right, line up our bottom. Oops. Okay, here and here, and then line up the top of our house. Okay, see there, there. A couple more pins. Okay. Sew those guys down. This side. It's a lovely windy day here today. The sun is shining, it's warm. A little crispy this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. We know it's fall. It's exciting. I see we'll have snow within the month. That's my guess. There we go. A cute little house. Adorable. Okay, all right, let's give that a press. Cute little heart house. House full of love. Okay, oh, we forgot to sew that. Okay, let's sew those, and then we just have our side bits to do, I believe. Oops. go. That looks nice. Looks like lined up quite nicely at those two peaks right there. There and there. And a little birdie house. Birdie looks nice. Okay, so let's press that. And then from here, put one on either side. And then there's one on the top and the bottom after I've done that. So let's put this one on here. And the ones on the side of the heart. That's just our background fabric to build out our block to be 15 by 20. Okay, or 18 by 15. Oops, hold on. It's here. 12 by 18. There we go. Here. There. Okay, all right, let's get those done, and then once those sides are on, we can put the bottom on. Okay. And I think it's important to be consistent with your background fabric, whether it's a light tone. You know, I think it would look really nice in a dark tone as well, and I have contemplated doing that, maybe even for myself at a later date. Because I still would have some of these fabrics around, so I could use them to, you know, incorporate into different houses or so on and so forth. Just making it fun and unique. On this side, and then just have a couple more seams to go. Press this open. There we go. Isn't that pretty? There we go. And we'll get it sewn up there. So just a couple more seams to go. We're good. Oops. Okay, so we one here. There and there, and then one here. And now you again want to make sure you're trying to line up your house. Like I'm trying to match up the squares of the yellow and stuff like that to each other, as well as the edge. Okay. Again, lining up the colors of the house and the edge. Okay, and it should look pretty good. Alright, let's sew those last two seams. And that'll be block 5 done. Do block 6 obviously next week, and then I think after that we may do 7 and 8 just to make sure we're caught up before the whole 16, so we can kind of chillax before the next few weeks before Christmas and stuff like that. So try and get those 2 that we need to double up on out of the way as soon as possible, right? But I didn't want to overwhelm myself as well as you guys to be able to catch up on 2 blocks so at once. We did that last weekend, so we'll give it a couple more and then we'll catch up. We'll do 6 and then we'll do 7 and 8. Okay, alright, let's give this a press. And then we're D-O-N-E. As soon as we take out the P-I-N-E. Bin, not the pine. Alright, there we go. Put that paperwork there. Give this a little press. Another cute house. Built here at the Mama Pop Quilt Shop. I'd live here. It's got a big old bird on top. Because I think as long as it lays an egg every day. Alright, there we go. Is that cute? I love it. I love it. So there we go. That is block 5 of the Be My Neighbor. I hope you're sewing along with us. I'd love to see your posts on our guild website, which is www.wesewit.com, and you can sign up there. It would be lovely to see your work. So have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m., where we're just going to complete our cathedral windows and possibly work on a Halloween panel with some half-hexy ruler, cutting out some fabrics and stuff like that. So join us for that fun, because it is Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. So we wish everybody a very Thanksgiving, and we're thankful for every single one of you. So big hugs, and we'll see you soon. From my house to yours.